Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen, and we want a word with you. I am Babel. Joining me on the desk is going to be Gillyweed as well as Kubi.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here, Babel. We had a fantastic match, the last one. You got to be here for that, Kubi.
I'm still out of breath. It was just too good of a series. I hope we can get another one just like that coming up.
Yeah, it is going to be an awesome day, full of action, and we just saw Tempo stomp against DK. Of course, DK, they came in here thinking that they're going to stomp this competition, but Tempo stomp showed up really, really well.
Yeah, DK was very, very confident, and they've had lots of confident play as well. And just, I think they were not expecting the competition from Tempo Storm to be quite so fierce. It was very close.
Right, even if you look at it until right after game number 1, when, you know, it was a Tempo Storm style draft. That was what they're so comfortable with, and things looked quite shaky. You know, they had a strategy, a clear strategy going forward. Even felt in the draft, they got countered almost immediately, but then they bounced back so well. I think they showed a very, very strong set of games against DK.
I actually really like the fact that you know Tempo Storm is just so prepared for that Illidan composition, and I think they actually have to thank Glaurung and Cognitive for that. They practice a lot, and Glaurung, as you guys may not know, he is renowned for the Illidan play. His team Cognitive, they play this lineup a lot, and I think that that's what exactly prepared Tempo Storm a lot for this kind of lineup and matchup, and DK may not know that they know how to deal with it. Also, something's interesting is that Tempo Storm really prioritized the Sylvanas pickup. Gilly, share with me your thoughts on this, please.
You know, they've been prioritizing Sylvanas a lot more in their scrims too. And I really love that they've been going back to that Tempo Storm style. We've talked about it. Seems like, you know, things have been really shaky for them, especially in the last few competitions that they've been in, not quite being at the top of the Americas anymore. And so I love that they've come back in. They've said, we're going to do what we know best, what we feel most comfortable with. And that nearly helped them take down DK.
Yeah, it was the drafting with that. The Sylvanas was a very, very good point. Getting that silence in there was really good. And also consistently drafting Brightwing. You know, having that polymorph and the mobility, the flexibility in that sense. You know, and the Zeratul on top of that with the Void Prisons in the backline. I think everything, like you were saying, Babel, showing that they were very well prepared to deal with this style of strategy that they know is so prevalent in the Korean scene.
Speaking on that Sylvanas too as well, a little bit of a different style that they tend to play. A lot of times we've been seeing that Lost Soul pickup for her at level 1, reducing the cooldown for her Shadow Daggers so that later on when you have that Cold Embrace, you have more vulnerability. But Tempo have still been prioritizing Barb Shot a lot with their Sylvanas pickup, just making sure that they have consistent wave clear, that when they do finally get to the lanes after the objectives, they can take out those lanes very quickly and continue to get experience from that.
I'm just really excited because Tempo Storm, this team right here that we see today, it is a very different kind of strategy as compared to America Championship. They were really old school, like Asmodan and stuff like that. They were really famous for, like in the good old days. But right now, this is the same Tempo Storm we saw throughout all of any August Open, and this is really, really good because this is them sticking to their guns and knowing what they want to do. Also, now we have the next matchup ready, and I'll throw it to Anna to have her introduce the teams.
Thank you very much, Babel. It is my pleasure indeed to introduce the teams. From China, our blue team is Braveheart. And the red team, the champions from the European region, it is Na'Vi. Cannot wait to watch this match, guys. Commentators, go ahead and take us there.
Well, they say that even if you're born to win, you need a brave heart to bring it to the next level. And here we have SHWimpi's hair looking so good, by the way. Don't you guys think so?
I think it is where they get a lot of their confidence.
Yeah, so I'm told. A lot of they do revere that hair, and he flaunts it. If you got it, flaunt it, right? That's what they say.
It's a signature. It really is. And a little bit more about Na'Vi first. This is the champion team in the European, I think, qualifiers as well, regionals. And they went undefeated, not even a single game throughout the entire series. And I think that's something, it's a strong message to all the teams here today.
Not even undefeated too, but won the final game with a no warrior composition. Believe it was Kerrigan Butcher that they had. So they've got a lot of different styles that they can pull out and a lot of pocket picks, but a very aggressive team for sure.
Yeah, and we also saw the rise of the Leoric into Mighty Gust. You know, there's just so many different ways to play that. And I think it's one of my favorite things about the Na'Vi team is that they really do a lot of innovating. You know, you might say that some of the, underdog teams going into this event might be looking to throw some crazy strategies at them, but I think Na'Vi probably takes the cake in that department.
All right, and a little bit more about Braveheart. This is a team that came in after Easta failed to secure the visas, and here we have the score for them: 7 wins and 5 losses. A lack of statistical data because of the fact that they just failed to come in here to this competition. But I really like the fact that this is a team that's made up of the best from 2 teams, and that is something you want to be careful about. They have Bao, Exia, both of them are from Braveheart, Gemini, Kayadea, as well as M. Those 3 are going to be from Edward Gaming.
So yeah, you talked about that, and just the fact that they do have members from 2 different teams because, again, of visa things for sure, and how those went down, but they were still able to get EDG in to fill in too. So they have members of 2 different teams. So it could either go 2 different ways. They're either going to have confidence in just the fact that they don't have any pressure on them, or it's going to be very difficult for them because they haven't been playing together for that long.
Yeah, but that's a good point. I mean, all 3 of us, we did get a chance to sit down and talk with the team a little bit. And I was more curious about that confidence in particular, like you were mentioning, Gilly. And, because they are such a young team, such a young roster, how confident are they feeling? We've had situations like this, especially in the Americas Championship, with new teams really getting kind of thrown together at what kind of is like the last minute compared to how long some of the other teams have been together. And I noticed, especially immediately throwing those questions at them, there was a chipper response. They immediately, knew the roles of everybody on the team, throwing bets like, okay, this guy, he's a shot caller. We trust in him for everything that we do. And I think all of that camaraderie put together, I was quite surprised to see that. And I actually do have very high hopes for this team.
Yeah, they're great friends, but you know what? Na'Vi, they're even better friends. And we have with them, we have with us here, Na'Vi, 27-9, AlexTheProG, Ethernal, JayPL, scHwimpi, and Splendour. I just have to say, scHwimpi and his hair and his plays, this is just a guy you got to keep your eye out for. This team is here to dominate.
Babel, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're jealous of his hair.
I am.
Keep bringing it up, yeah.
Well, I mean, those are some really good golden locks, and all I have is just some black, grass on my head. It's not so good at the end if you do compare. But yeah, Na'Vi is a really strong team, and I do believe that they have a very special preference when it comes to picking their range assassins. They don't really go for Vala, and it's a very interesting pick. I actually had the chance to talk to the team, and it's because that they think that Vala don't provide the extra factor. Like, she's just there, being there, doing AoE consistent damage. You got Jaina with burst, you got Kel'Thas with some extra CC, and crowd control, that is, for the because you don't know that, as well as the fact that Felstad, well, at least he's got that win, that's what they said.
The Mighty Gust, is that what you're talking about? He's got that. He also has the global presence too.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. But it is interesting, the difference of Valas, whether people are wanting to play them or, like you said, the European region really not prioritizing her at all when it comes to damage.
Yeah, so I think the big thing that we're going to see, as a contested point going into this match between the 2 teams is what kind of wacky strategies is Na'Vi going to bring? How quickly can Braveheart adapt, especially because they are that new roster? But like I was saying before, they do put a lot of their faith into their captain, and it was such confidence coming out of them in that sense. So I think that they will, in that sense, really just put all that faith there and just say that we trust in every decision that you make, and if there's no questioning that type of thing, they can really come full force in trying to tackle these new strategies that we might see out of Na'Vi.
Yeah, they actually even came in and said we feel it could go 50-50, which I think for a new team, like you said, coming in and just saying, yeah, we think it could go either way. They did mention, though, that jet lag could be more of a concern for them than either the North American or the European teams. I want to know what your thoughts on the jet.
Well, I have a lot of things to say, but I do believe the draft is ready, and we're going into the first game between Braveheart as well as Na'Vi, and game 1 will be played on Black Hearts Bay. This is such a hearty conversation we have here. It's hearts everywhere. Braveheart, Black Heart, we have so many hearts. I don't know, but yep, Sonya instant first ban. It looks really, really good. What do you think, Kubi?
Yeah, so the battleground choice is, it's very strange. So what we actually have here is, since Na'Vi has taken first pick, that means that the battleground choice has gone to Braveheart. And we're in a situation where Braveheart says that one of the ways that we can try to throw Na'Vi off is to take them to a less conventional battleground. Blackheart's Bay, I think, is on the top of that list for those unconventional battlegrounds. But what is not so strange is seeing those two bans, Sonya, Uther, very, very strong heroes, and Na'Vi actually taking a very early Johanna pick.
Yeah, that's a bit strange. The very early Johanna does leave Tassadar up as a potential pick later on. We'll see if he ends up getting picked up. But looking at Blackheart's Bear, we're never looking at people trying to control the turn-ins. Vision is very important here. Also the ability to poke and stop the turn-ins for as long as possible. Deny until the rest of your team can get there. And then also being able to fight over the chests. You either need to be able to control the coins by being able to jungle, pick them up very effectively, or win fights and get picks and then steal the coins from your opponents.
I like Jaina a lot. Jaina is a great pickup, has got a lot of bursty potential moving into this fight, especially with some selective areas where she can land all her skills. Blizzard's going to be really good when she does need to burst down an enemy. And Tyrande is the other pick that's going to be so important with the Hunter's Mark. That's going to really help her do even more burst damage. Let's take a look at a kit right here. We got Light of Elune for heal, Sentinel to just give a little bit extra vision, and that's really important for Blackheart's Bay because Missionary Camp, those will be the key to those coins there. And the key to a heart as well. We got Lunar Flare doing a lot of good stun lock, as well as the fact that Shadow Stalk is just been buffed a little bit and reworked right now. It does heal, and that also means that Braveheart, they don't really need to go for a second support. I know most teams want to do that, but we've seen teams today with a lot of guts that really just picking up Tyrande for solo support.
Okay, so then we move back over to Navi's side of the picks, and I'm honestly still very perplexed by this early Johanna pick. I think a lot of teams would just say that she is not really the strongest warrior moving into that, and the fact that they would sacrifice their first pick to get this, we had to know something interesting was up, and I'd say Tyrael being picked up really sort of proves that point. Gilly, what do you think?
I really think they're hiding something here.
Yeah.
But the Johanna and the Tyrael picking up, you're going to even take a look at Tyrael, one of my favorites, by the way. But don't forget the heroic abilities. We have both of them that do get picked up by Tyraels. First of all, Sanctification, providing invulnerability to yourself and your allies for 3 seconds, but then we also have Judgment too, which helps you engage very quickly. You dive in, you stun somebody, and as you can see, it knocks away minions and your other opponents around your target as well.
I love Tyrael, Gilly.
He's so awesome!
This is our hero that's getting picked up right here, and I do agree, they're really hiding something. It could be a melee assassin, and Uther is being banned out. That's something they really need to be wary about, because Uther, he unlocks the potential for melee assassins, but I don't know what's going to be their strategy here. Karazim, this is a sign of melee assassins coming in, because he's going to be in front healing so much, and if they do pick up a Kerrigan and Butcher, we've seen those heroes being played by Na'Vi before.
Yeah, and whether you make use of that Divine Palm or the 7-sided strike, but either of those lets you dive into that front line, like you were mentioning, Babel. You know, the 7-sided strike, whether it's just to punish that warrior play or using the Divine Palm yourself on enemy or your own allies to make sure that you're out of that danger. But he is probably one of the most aggressive supports.
Well, ETC's time is not now, as he's going to get banned. Kael'thas also banned. I like that from Braveheart, recognizing even that European region does tend to favor Kael'thas a bit more in their draft. So trying to take him out, trying to stay away from that chain bomb, which can really spread to you and deal a lot of area damage.
Of course, we are just predicting that Na'Vi is going to go for a melee assassin. It is still not proven yet. They may be hiding a secret specialist Gaslow. I don't know if that's going to work here, but I think it's going to be interesting. Sylvanas being picked up by Braveheart is a very good pick as well. ETC getting banned out is also a very, very good ban. You really want to ban ETC against these Asians teams because they run ETC way more than you think.
Babel actually told me behind stage that all you wanted was to get to cast an ETC game. I'm so sorry, my friend. That is not right now.
I've got like 10 jokes prepared for ETC, but unfortunately, we're not going to have them. Unfortunately, we will have Leoric and the Skeleton King. The last time I said a joke about Leoric, it was when he fed someone with a mouthful of skeletons. That didn't really work out quite well, but Leoric, Sylvanas, Tyrande, Jaina, that's going to be a lineup here for Braveheart. Let's take a look at Leoric. He does have the Skeleton Swing, Drain Hope, Wraith Walk, Entomb, and March of the Black King. We've seen a good balance between Entomb and March of the Black King today, and I think both of those look really, really good. What's important is that Leoric, he's been played like Leorki before, and
Yes,
it's just because he respawns so fast.
So the interesting thing about Braveheart's draft going forward at this point is that there's no real setup for Tyrande. You know, oftentimes you'll try to take something, you know, I would say that Jaina is really the follow-up after Tyrande lands the stun. So usually you look to something like a Muradin, right, to leap forward, provide that slow, land his stun with the Stormbolt, Tyrande follows up, and then you have Jaina. That's like the classic combo. But grabbing Leoric here, maybe they're sort of foreshadowing the rest of their pick, and yeah, Babel's getting excited over that false step pick. We know that that is something that Na'Vi has run in the past.
Yeah, well, it's the Birdman. How can you not like Birdman? Feldstad is just so awesome. Awesome mobility on Black Huts Bay, and the fact that they got Hammerang, Lightning Rod, Barrel Roll. Gilly, you have something to say?
Is it going to be Falstad Butcher? Are we looking at
I think
the
so.
land the slaughter with Mighty Gust? Is that what we're about to see here from Na'Vi? Please let it be so.
Yes, there it is.
We're jumping somebody today. Hell,
Butcher,
this is good.
one of the premier melee assassins in this game. And Gilly, you mentioned it, that Lamps of the Slaughter has been something that was showcased in that European Champions. So basically what you're looking to do is isolate one member from the enemy team with that Lamp of the Slaughter, chains them down to a point, and they can't leave unless they get cleansed out of that area. And then you Mighty Gust the rest of the team away. It puts that one hero in a terrible position. You blow them up as quickly as you can and then move forward with that 4v5. It's a very interesting take on both of those heroics and really just some ingenious strategy.
I really like this opener because I think Na'Vi is just testing Braveheart. How well do you understand our team? Because they ran this composition before. If Braveheart did the research and studies, they would know. But it is the Muradin, and it's really, really interesting that he's getting picked out last. Yeah. This is a tier 1. Like, guys, he is really, really good. Getting him in the last slot is really like a steal. And that's where I think banning out the ETC instead of Muradin may be an interesting take on things here.
But it really does fill out the rest of that composition, though. I mean, we're talking about having that aggressive lineup and really trying to get that initiator. I think Muradin is a smart pick for that. We'll have to see how it pans out against a team like Na'Vi. They've got to know how to deal with something like this.
My only concern for sure is the support. They have a solo support Tyrande and some very squishy heroes to try to keep up when the Butcher is going to be rushing in. And that does a lot of burst damage when he comes in. But if they can survive that, then maybe they can isolate. They have lots of stuns that from there they can hit it, try to take out the Butcher then after that. That's going to be key, but it's going to be scary with only a Tyrande support.
Pioneered in the European Champions. There's no cleanse. There's no cleanse. You were mentioning this, Gilly, with that solo support, Tyrande. There's no cleanse. There's very few options to really get that single hero out of harm's way. And, the fact that we're on Blackheart's Bay as well, throwing another wrench into the plans. I don't know. I got to give it to Na'Vi for this one. We haven't seen any team really show a way that they can stop this strategy. And I'm not really sure that what Braveheart has is the answer.
All right, Gilly, Na'Vi or Braveheart?
Man, I hate to just repeat what Kubi said, but I think it's going to have to be Na'Vi too. It's looking pretty scary.
Awesome. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, do join us on Twitter. Tweet us at Esports Heroes and use the hashtag HeroesWC to join in the conversation, as well as, wow, we have 100% Na'Vi in the house today. The game is ready. We're going to Black Huts Bay. Thank you very much, Kubi. We're going to have him back for analysis at a later stage, actually. So Black Huts Bay will be the battleground for the first game between Braveheart and Na'Vi. On the blue team, it is going to be Braveheart, the team hailing from China. Bao will be on to the Jaina. We also got Exia on to the Sylvanas. Gemini on to Tyrande. Leoric.
JayPL will be on the Butcher. SHWIMPI playing Johanna, and rounding it out, Karzim played by Splendour.
It's really, really exciting to see this strategy unfold right in front of us. Vital's getting picked up by Butcher. That is something that I think is pretty interesting to see. Most different Butchers have different picks here, but this one wants to pick up a little bit more extra health from those fresh meat, healing himself a 3% every single stack.
Yeah, that's more of a European style, definitely, with Vitals being picked up there. Some of the other Butchers like to go for something like the hamstring build, but it makes a lot of sense there. I'm pretty sure that that's what they were running before as well with that Butcher.
And here we have a very interesting split here. The Asians, they really like to go to the sentry point because they just want to establish map dominance and maybe just want to get a few easy takedowns in the first few minutes of the game. But we have Sylvanas stationed at the bottom lane against Butcher. That is not going to be an easy lane for Butcher. And on the flip side here, we have a very even split for the mid chest, just spawning immediately. Splendour does pick up one coin. He's going to flip back to the other side, getting locked down immediately. He goes down. Karzim out for the count.
First blood of the game going the way of Braveheart. They should be able to pick up the rest of that doubloon chest too. In the bottom though, Na'Vi going to pick up these doubloons as well. So going to be able to split them, and that's generally what teams are okay with doing. They want to be able to split. Obviously, they would like to get both, but getting behind in the first chess phase is a lot of trouble to be in.
All right, so far, Felstead with 5 coins. We got 3 on Tyrande, 1 on Jaina, 1 on Murden, and it looks to be very set so far. Rotation looks to be okay. I'm thinking that it is going to be Na'Vi that wants to secure those rotations so far, but we have a 5-coin turn in.
Yeah, Na'Vi already getting in. Here we go. Na'Vi, AlexTheProG taking tons of damage and will come back in as Archangel's Wrath, but they are getting out of there fast, going to be completely fine, and yet another takedown going the way of Braveheart.
Yeah, Braveheart just securing those EXP lead. It may be negligible, but it's still a good start. And down south, we see Felstead as well as Butcher. We all just know that Butcher's not going to get any leeway here. In the bottom lane, he's going to have to try and relocate a little bit.
Yeah, they would love to be able to pick up that Sylvanas out of position, but so far Sylvanas has been playing very safely. But it does at least stop Sylvanas from being a super, super heavy push there in the bottom. Unfortunately for Na'Vi, the heavy push is coming elsewhere. They're pushing here in the middle. They've already gotten 1 tower down, and this is very important because when they get their first turn in, it guarantees that they get the fort.
This is classic Chinese team in the middle lane, just making sure that they capitalize as much as possible to push a lane out on Blackheart's Bay. Also, do note that this battleground is being decided by Braveheart. Blackheart. Decided by Braveheart. I hope you get that.
Let's see. Tyrande, her build so far has been Celestial Entombment. So a little bit different there, reducing the mana cost of her heal. It's going to be very important. As we mentioned before, she is the sole support for the team. Also picking up Pierce. Not always something that we see, especially now. A lot of Tyrande's liking focused attacks, but it makes a lot of sense too because that way you can't block the Sentinel coming in when you're trying to deny the turn-in.
Okay, it's interesting to see Butcher already going to work on those mercenary camps. Will pick off, I think, even the Doubloon camp as well as the Siege Giants there. And he's also going to do a nice rotation to the mid lane. He does have 21 stacks on his fresh meat. That's going to be a lot of extra damage as well. And that is really important for Na'Vi to take note of.
Oh, Ethernal's got to watch out, but he knows there's several people off the battleground. Can he get out in time? There goes the Stormbolt into the Lunar Flare, and they melt him. Falstad goes down.
It is a fried chicken right there. I mean, it's an awesome, awesome rotation from Braveheart. They still take absolute control of the rotations regardless. After taking the Siege Giant, you really want to make sure you play safe because you know that there will be a rotation from the enemy team. And that is something that Na'Vi was a little bit sloppy, in my opinion.
All right, we're moving in level 7 to level 6. These takedowns, these being able to pick off people slowly is pushing Braveheart into the lead a little bit. Now they're going to go for a turn-in too. And as I mentioned before, this is going to be great for them because they did get that early pressure on. They'll be able to pick up the first fort of the game just as chests start to spawn.
We know that Na'Vi has got a synergy in level 10, and that is something that Braveheart needs to be very wary about. But so far, having an early game lead is going to give this team the confidence boost that they need, seeing the fact that they come in here as 2 teams, in fact.
Yeah, especially because it is Blackheart's Bay. It's more early game focused. You can really ride the momentum off of Blackheart, and it can get very snowbally for the team that is behind. So that's something to take into account too. So far though, only a level lead. It is something they'll have to watch out for as we get closer to those heroic abilities. But they're trying to get back onto the game right now with some takedowns.
Ruthless Onslaught onto Tyrande. He is going to try and pull back right now, but that may not be true. Gemini dropping a lot of HP, and AlexTheProG wants to go for that kill, but will get it at the end. Alex pulling back. That Eldruin's might just throwing the spear all the way past the big ice wall.
Yeah, watch out for that Eldrin because it's coming for you. And that's going to help them get back in the game. That's exactly what they need to be able to catch back up. Now with that too, look how far forward Exia is. Here comes the Ruthless Onslaught onto this too, followed by the Brutal Strike that he did pick up at level 7. Falstad coming into this should be able to pick up this takedown on Sylvanas.
It's a great synergy. I mean, the timing on that Haunting was really good, but hold that thought. Ethernal may pay the ultimate price here, and it seems like M will secure the last hit there, and that will be a kill. We got a bombardment going on for the red team now, so that's going to really help them chase up a little bit, but we do have heroics already available for Braveheart.
And look what they picked up. We do have Shadow Stock, of course. That is definitely going to be needed for the heals from Tyrande. We also have Entomb, Wailing Arrow, the Ring of Frost coming in, which I'm excited to see, as well as Avatar for Murden.
For the longest time, Ring of Frost has been dubbed the Ring of Loss, but it seems like recently things have been shaping up very well for Jaina, and that alternative build has all of a sudden become the mainstream build, so I'm not really surprised to see Ring of Frost anymore. It is going to stack up really well with Entomb, but I think that execution is going to be key here for this kind of a combo.
Now with the Sylvanas, they want to be constantly pushing, but they do have to watch out as the minute that they see somebody not on the, showing on the battleground, they need to be throwing out those Sentinels as much as possible, trying to find them. But on the opposite side, we've got the Butcher, and Navi is going to be so nice to have him because he can start to take out those things by themselves.
All right, we're going to see the combo happening here. Bot sanctification will be employed, and it seems like Bao is going to go down. Exia already pulling back and getting blown away, literally. It's going to be in a lot of trouble now. We also see scHwimpi swinging back the blast shield, and Murday will take the fall. 3 men down on the side of Braveheart.
3 for nothing, and a huge push on top of that. They were able to steal the Bruisers and the Siege Giants too. They're going to start working on the towers here. They may be even be able to go to the fort. Yes, they'll even take this down, and this is great. Any structures that you can take down yourselves means that your turn-ins later on will cost fewer doubloons, and that's really great. You don't have to start turning in, 20, 22, 24 just to get the kill on the core.
Positioning is already very important in Heroes of the Storm, but once you're up against Feldstad, you need to be very prepared for the mighty gust, and that is exactly what's happening here. Kaya Dia doing his best to make sure that he zone out the enemy while we secure the turn-in point for Braveheart. They're also going to rotate down to address those mercenary camps, but right now what they really need is to soak the lanes and get that level lead back.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like, too, just having these great pushes in the lanes means that Sylvanas is kind of playing defense instead of really pushing out and being aggressive, pushing the lanes, trying to take down structures as much as possible. What Navi are trying to do, they're trying to take control of the game, of the lanes, and put their presence out there.
All right, so an update on the financial status here for Navi. They've got 17 coins, and that looks to be really, really good. They can turn in any time. All they need is just one good engagement. The team may not really want to take a fight right now because they may want to get a level 13 lead first, and they are the team that will lose the coins if they lose the fight.
Yeah, and that's definitely a way to throw favor back into your opponent's team. So you're right, they're going to go ahead and back off. They know that they can pick up that level lead. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for very long, so they won't really be able to take any huge advantages off of it, something like the boss, unless they can maybe bait their opponents up to that or down to the turn-in point, knowing that they have so many doubloons, and then take them out from there.
So Navi is a team that really plays defensive. You look at their heroics, it's Divine Palm, Sanctification, and those are really, really good when it comes to keeping a fellow hero and a player alive. Especially, I've heard really, really good stuff about Splendor's Karazim, and it seems to be really awesome.
Now, looking at some of the level 13 talents that we have coming out, we do have Burning Rage for Johanna. They could definitely add to that Blessed Hammer at level 16 for more damage from Johanna too. Dealing damage, trying to get into the back line and really disrupt those squishy heroes, knowing that Tyrande is the sole support, really capitalizing on that with more and more damage.
So we have a second turning here for Navi, and it seems like the top lane is going to get absolutely destroyed, and there's nothing Braveheart can do. They're setting up a possible flank at this sentry point area. Seems like Johanna's going to scout a little bit, but we're going to have a wave flip mechanic again, and a perfect entomb only on the tank. It may not be so good. Mighty Gust blowing them away and buying scHwimpi all the space he needs. Now this is going to be tricky because both heroic cooldowns, they're very, very similar.
Right, yeah, they're very, very short. I was just going to say the same thing. So it's not too difficult for either team that they wasted those heroic abilities. They'll be able to come back up very, very soon. Now, Braveheart are up here and not the boss. And so far, Navi don't really have any vision up around there. Although with that Sentinel coming through, that's going to show exactly where they're at.
That's really going to buy them a lot more time, and it's just really good because we've seen some really fantastic Sentinel play, but I've never seen a Sentinel pierce through 3 targets like that to deny the turn-in. It will still go through ultimately, but at least Braveheart will have the boss camp.
Yeah, it was a very good play, realizing that Navi would want to turn in all of those doubloons like you mentioned before too. So going for the advantage that they can, checking on that, making sure that they weren't about to get ganked. Fantastic job of Braveheart.
So far, we have 5 kills against 4 in favor for Navi. And in terms of coins, they just turn in the entire payload there. So they have got 4 coins on hand. They can take a team fight right now. They will get the level 16 first, and that's going to help the team a lot if they can seek advantage from there.
Now, Braveheart have 18 doubloons. That looks scary. We're starting to see work done on the keeps as well. So it's going to look a little bit scary for them too. They're also down a level, so the pressure is mounting on Braveheart. And this is where they need to not get caught out and lose those doubloons, because that will further Navi's win.
You got to be very careful, and it seems like Navi is just deciding to secure the turn-in point here and not really giving a lot of attention to the boss that's pushing down the top lane. It seems like there's also going to be a bruiser camp pushing behind the boss. Boss is ultimately going to go down without much of anything achieved except pushing down the top fort, and we will have Na'Vi placing a lot of emphasis at the turning point and the bottom half of this battleground.
And once again, the Toronto Sentinel comes out, so they do at least see where members are, and this might be the chance that they need to be able to turn in these doubloons, get rid of them so that they can start to get into a team fight as soon as they get to level 16. Rainbow comes out, and Splendour going to be able to Radiant Dash away. The fight should be coming in.
That was such a big weight, and we have Butcher with the Ruthless Onslaught. Ice block by Jaina, may not be enough. The Mighty Guts blowing the backline away. Jaina gets blown apart, and now M in a lot more trouble. 13 coins on this guy. Here's the rich guy. He's just like the fat cat at home. You want to make sure you take him down. Unfortunately, they will not get that. We see even more Sentinels coming back out. This, we have Kaya there pushing the top lane. But Na'Vi, they will capitalize on that 3 versus 5 situation at a mid keep, and they will get this keep.
Awesome decisions by both, but picking up the keep is huge. KRDR is not going to be able to do that by himself here, and he's going to have to watch out, or he's going to have another Leorki situation on his hands.
Yeah, he has to pull back. He should know the whole team is going to be on a Leoric hunt right now. We got Tyrael at the turning point, just securing this area. AlexTheProG, he will spot out the enemy, and the rest of the team is nowhere close, so we may actually have a chance for Braveheart to turn in. Will Alex go back in? And I think he just did that. Yes, only going to buy even more time. And here comes the Ethernal. There goes the Whirling Arrow, and Tomb connecting as well. Only on one target, and a Sanctification builds out the entire team. We got a backline in a lot of trouble. Coyote will take the fall first. AlexTheProG dropping very low, but Toronto's address. Divine Pump securing Alex. He's going to try and pull back.
M has to get out of here, but it won't be enough. 13 doubloons now going toward Na'Vi. Only 2 heroes remaining, and Bao in a lot of trouble here. There's no way you will be able to get out of here. Ice block only delaying the inevitable, as 4-0 in favor of Na'Vi, and they just made their banks go boom.
Yeah, well, it's just, well, Jaina going boom. It's very simply put. There's no way Jaina could have got out of that situation. Really great execution by Na'Vi. You saw that synergy right there. They were playing so safe. Sanctification was perfectly timed. Divine Palm just made sure that Tyrael will not be afraid of going back in front again, although his HP was very, very low. Butcher with all of those right-click damage coming in, those all played a huge part in that engagement.
You mentioned Butcher's auto attacks too, and he did pick up Enrage, so I love the synergy that we have with the Sanctification. If he can go in, drop below 50% health so that Enraged hits, all of a sudden he has a ton of attack speed, you hit Sanctification, and there's no way that they can actually take him out, and he's doing so much damage.
And Braveheart is just slowly falling apart right now. More of a possession of this map right here.
26 doubloons in favor of Na'Vi, and all they have to do is put some pressure on the battleground, soak a little bit longer, and they have level 20s. Nothing that Braveheart wants to engage into, but they're running out of options. They only have 2 keeps left, and that's plenty of doubloons for a turn-in.
Yeah, and we have Ultica Na'Vi at the top lane. Just pulling back, they're playing safe. They want to make sure they get the level 20 first. It's in Braveheart's interest to try and catch Na'Vi before they get level 20. But after that, you want to see Braveheart soak up the lanes and get their own Storm Talents.
I think Falstaff's build is really interesting and pretty cool. Since you've got the Seasoned Marksman, but then I think that probably is secret weapon there. So then you've just got tons of damage from your auto attacks, furthering that with the Giant Killer as well. So fantastic to be able to burn down those warriors, the 2 that they do have on Braveheart's team.
It is actually surprising to see Falstaff going for the AA build, the auto attack build, instead of the standard ability damage build here. And here we have Na'Vi going in for the turn-in. They're paying again. And the Mercenary Blackheart, he's smiling. We know he's going to send up another wave of bombardment. I don't know if Braveheart have the heart to take this damage.
It's going to be tough. They are so down in terms of experience. They can't even get out and try to get a fight to get some of these doubloons back. And they still, even with the turn-in, Na'Vi have more than Braveheart. It's going to be a bit before they can get a turn-in, but still, that will be another keep down. Only 1 remaining, and this is looking very, very dire. They definitely need to try to get some picks, especially if they can get to 20s in some way.
This is very smart. If Na'Vi goes for the boss cam right here, I think Braveheart, even if they do know there's nothing much they can do, they don't have the Storm Talents, and they will opt to go and push the bottom lane instead. And this is going to really help them get all the EXP that they need as much as possible by taking EXP off of those structures.
I love the Tyrande choice there. As soon as they were seen, as soon as finally they were shown, she threw out the Sentinel. So she waited so that it didn't give away their position to throw that out and check on the boss. So now the boss being taken out already, we see people backing to stop this this attack, and they're going to be able to defend the keep and pick up the boss.
Yeah, well, Butcher just chops up the Grave Golem so good. I mean, he has a huge cleaver, and that's put to good use right there. We have the rest of Braveheart soaking the lanes, making sure they get level 20 ASAP. And we also have a huge Grave Golem pushing down the top lane without a keep to defend against it.
The Storm Tier talents picked up all look pretty standard, but we do have Peaceful Repose for Kharazim. So what that does, if he throws out the Divine Palm and it doesn't actually proc, then it reduces the cooldown to 5 seconds. So he constantly has that available.
You can hardly fill with that, but here comes Lamb to the slaughter. He will not chain a Murden. He is just okay, but here we have also the Mighty Guts just pushing the team back, and the Sanctification. They're going for the core dropping to 80%. The game now in a lot of trouble for Braveheart. Braveheart doing the best to defense, but I don't think they can do it. The core dropping even more, and it's gonna be Navi winning game number 1. What a series it is. I mean, this is just pure confidence from the European team so far.
Yeah, it was absolutely confident, especially like you mentioned before, bringing in a composition that it was obvious that they had played several times. So Braveheart would be able to scope that out and see and know that this is a possibility, and yet they still ran with it just to test the waters and see, can we win with this one? And definitely could.
All right, so to talk a little bit about some of the really amazing plays that happened in that game. I think you guys know exactly which one I'm going to bring up. That really nice fight over by Blackheart. So let's hop on over to the Windows 10 game DVR replay. So I want to pause this real quick right here, and I want to show this amazing position from Ethernal as we go into this. So he flies over into an aggressive spot and then makes use of excuse me there for a second, guys. I'll swap on over to my arrows. All right, so he hops on over here and gets a very nice Mighty Gust. This puts Gemini and the Leorc player into a very bad position. And what we're going to end up seeing when we advance this is a sort of like a scared Entomb that gets thrown out. And this actually does kind of put the positioning, all the members of Na'Vi into a very tight corridor. And as we advance this just a little bit, we're going to see that Entomb get put out as it gets scared. But really this awesome play that happens right after this, we're going to go ahead and pause that. And this is probably one of the best sanctifications right here. Remember, all the heroes inside here are invulnerable. And what's going to happen after this, we're going to go ahead and, when we follow this up, Butcher is going to throw an amazing Lamb to the slaughter over here. It's going to lock a few heroes at this point, and then we're going to have another very, very good sort of battleground control position with a holy ground in this spot. So when we go ahead and advance this, you can see that thrown down. So the sanctification immediately ruins Braveheart's plans. We see the Lamb to the slaughter, the holy ground, the body blocking that happens immediately afterwards, and this sets up just for an amazing team fight. The fact that Na'Vi was able to rotate all of those positionally strong abilities moving forward. A really nice Ring of Frost from Braveheart, but it just was not enough to move out forward. So just excellently executed play from Na'Vi during that team fight.
Perfectly executed by Na'Vi. They were just really confident going into this game. And we also have this really interesting series here between Braveheart and Na'Vi. Na'Vi, they're just this team that have got a lot of confidence, and we just want to hear what they have to say.
To be honest, we are like kind of family.
We do all these decisions together.
We are like really big friends. We have chemistry in the team.
We always talk to each other, even if we're not playing. It's like a job, but with friends and even a family.
We're really proud to be here as the European champions. That's really big by itself. So we're really happy that we have the opportunity to represent Europe.
It's something that every player strives for.
Even if we're not winning it, just qualified for it, it was really big. Winning BlizzCon is like reaching a dream.
We had a bit of roster changes in the past, but I guess that we kind of have chemistry now. We found like players which fit us really good, because I think that we play a bit different from what the meta is and what the meta is considered to be. I want us to be known for our diverse play style.
After the tournament, we will probably eat Taco Bell.
We will go to Disneyland and have some fun.
I think we will just party.
非常想去很多地方玩，就是很想去好莱坞那边，还有自己也比较喜欢 NBA 的一些球星，正好又是洛杉矶湖人的地盘。
每一个电竞选手都有一个冠军梦，而我们如今，我们肯定会尽最大的努力，从而我们 能拿到这个冠军，我们肯定会去火箭队的赛场，更看一下我的偶像可可。
So that's interesting. That's interesting to know that Braveheart, this is a team that really, really loves basketball. Like, yeah, they just want to go and see Kobe. And I have Kubi here to deal with. That's a very different touch of things. But I do believe that this is a very interesting matchup. And Braveheart, Na'Vi, do you guys really think that Braveheart can bring this to a third game?
Man, what scares me is what Na'Vi has up their sleeve that Braveheart don't know about. Because they've got a lot of different styles, and the fact that they come out with this right off the bat, and Braveheart, you know, had some issues with it, with dealing with it. But, you know, maybe they want to see Kobe, and maybe seeing that video will bring it back, make them renew their sense of wanting to see him, and they'll bring it back right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good thing to see. I just want to see Esmodan, and I do believe the draft is actually ready. And Game 2 will be well underway, and it seems like the battleground will be Sky Temple, my personal pocket full of sunshine with lots of laser beams. Esmodan will really make this awesome, although it's not really viable in this map.
Yeah, the lanes are a little far apart for building stacks for Taste for Blood, but we'll see anyway. Maybe they'll surprise you.
So, Jaina taken out from Braveheart, even though they had her on the in the previous game, and also Sonya getting taken out as well. No surprise to see that as probably one of the most banned heroes so far today in some of this opening week coverage for the BlizzCon World Championship.
Indeed, Kubi. It really seems like it's been Sonya and then someone else, whoever you just don't want to deal with. But Sonya
might be the first for Jaina.
Yeah.
It might actually be. We usually see Uther, Tassadar,
right.
Abathur sometimes in the spot as well.
And these ladies are not going to see much action, it seems like, in this whole series. Sonya is just something Gilly has been waiting for the entire day. Yeah, we have that.
That was a sad. That was a sad aw.
I got my ETC. She's got her Sonya. But we have Uther, a standard and really awesome first pick here. Opens up a lot of opportunities for melee assassins as well as just really, really good generic picks. Also fantastic anti-burst. But Tyrande is going to go to Na'Vi.
Yes, in terms of technical execution, if Na'Vi is going to be able to build something strong around Tyrande, I have full faith in their ability to be able to do that. So I'm excited to see what the remaining picks are. This are Kael'thas as well. Does have that gravity lapse, and that is going to be something that pairs well with Tyrande, the Lunar Flare. But they're going to need something that sets up a little bit better into that. Phoenix, something that has just been a mainstay heroic ability for that hero, just in terms of area control. And when we're looking at Sky Temple, this battleground, it's all about that area control.
Yeah. I want to see Fiery Meatball. I mean, Pyroblast, that's going to be the spaghetti and meat right now. Yeah.
First I've heard of that, Babel.
I don't know. I just like those kind of burst potential that Kael'thas provides, and I've seen some teams run it before. But here with Uther on Braveheart's side, I know my chances are as good as 0. Uther will be followed by Muradin, and that's another tier 1 pick for Braveheart. Those two have some good synergy. Unfortunately, Muradin is more of like a counter pick against Na'Vi, making sure that they don't get Muradin and Tyrande. What do you think is going to be the next pick here?
Well, not only that, Muradin also, they just faced Na'Vi with the Butcher, and that was terrifying. So they want to make sure they have the Muradin, as well as that denial from Muradin and Tyrande, the Miranda, if you will. Braveheart going to grab Sylvanas. That'll be a nice choice for them to be able to put down in that bottom lane, potentially. Just kind of leave her there, allow her to push and force Na'Vi to kind of respond to that as we're in the laning phase.
Right. You bring up a good point, Babel, in terms of counter-picking heroes. Sylvanas with the Wailing Arrow, perhaps one of the best disengages, up there with a VP as well. And Uther, we didn't talk about this much, but Divine Shield, that's going to get heroes out of those really precarious situations like we saw Na'Vi setting up last game. So far, maybe they've got something else up their sleeve, but Braveheart almost looks to be playing, we know Na'Vi's going to throw something weird at us. Let's make sure we have the tools to deal with it.
Something interesting is that most teams in all of today's matches that have lost the first game have mainly decided to go with map pick, but Braveheart, they decided to go with first pick instead. Now this is something that I feel is interesting, and we'll see how this draft is going to work out. Sky Temple, by the way, this map is decided by Na'Vi. We got Illidan and Tyrael banned out, so no more Sanctification, and they know that is the bane of Game 1 for Braveheart.
Yeah, and they also, with the Illidan, it makes a lot of sense because Braveheart have a lot of tools to help him, but also to go against him. You want the Muradin if you have to go up against an Illidan because of his reverberation build, slowing down that attack speed. So the fact that Braveheart had that looked a little scary for Na'Vi. Makes a lot of sense to take that out.
Okay, Na'Vi following this up with their second set of picks after the second bans. It is going to be Karazim and Johanna once again, really showing that they like this hero way more than any other team so far in this BlizzCon.
It is just Na'Vi trying to make sure that they play safe. This is consistent with Dignitas as well. And Europeans, they just want to make sure that, you know, they are invincible, they're invulnerable. They make sure that they have the absolute body mechanic to go in and wrestle you out of those positions, making sure that they capitalize on your mistakes. We're also going to see a Vala pickup for Braveheart. Very consistent with all of Asia, by the way. Asians, we just love Vala.
It's a very Tempo Storm looking draft so far, I'd say, from Braveheart. Really going for that range damage, prioritizing it with the Sylvanas and the Vala. You know, Vala's really strong. She's very flexible here. I think that's the best thing that you can say about her, especially with that strafe, just providing a lot of consistent damage. She has the multiple styles of builds with the multi-shot and Hungering Arrow, but also the Vault provides her some mobility to get her out of situations that could be quite scary, like we saw last game.
Yeah, and if you're talking about fighting around a zone, like we mentioned before, the temples, being able to just constantly throw out multi-shots, work down your hello. Okay. We have a switch in teams as Braveheart are going to grab the Butcher this time.
Well, Braveheart just won the heart of Butcher. That's all I can say. It's going to chop up Na'Vi real good. You got Uther, you got Muradin, two of the best counters for Butcher on Braveheart's side right now. What is Na'Vi's answer going to be?
I would think another warrior, perhaps. We'll see, though. I think maybe they're thrown off a little bit by this. We'll see as they go into it. But what will it be? Meanwhile, the Butcher, that's going to be so incredibly scary because Braveheart took the Muradin, too. They have the Divine Shield on top of it, but what?
The Lord of Terror is out and back in the meta. Oh, God. He's just going to chew some up really, really well. Diablo against Butcher? Are you kidding me? This is so good. Diablo has faced out the meta for so long, but we see Shadow Charge Firestorm as one of the fantastic ganking abilities here that he does provide overpower as well. And I just want to see Lightning Breath, but I know Apocalypse may be favored here.
Act 1 boss versus Act 4 boss? Who wins? I don't know. We haven't seen Diablo in some time. It's good that you mentioned that, but we had known that when Diablo was in the meta, that Tyrande-Diablo combo was so strong, and really, if your team is known for that technical execution, like I was bringing up earlier in the draft, I think this is going to be a very exciting game with Butcher on one side for Braveheart and the Diablo-Tyrande combo on the other.
Guys, we've seen ETC, and now we have Diablo-Tyrande. What time is it? Like, what day is it? What month is it? It's crazy.
We're going back to old school, and I really just love Diablo-Tyrande. Diablo-Tyrande, one of the fantastic, rotation ganking mechanic that this game has ever seen. And so far, it has been really forgotten. But right now, we're going to relive those fantastic memories back in those good old days. I sound really old.
I'm dropping a tear, Babel.
Yeah, well,
just like,
I mean,
great.
How can you say no? But even before Muradin-Tyrande, it is Diablo-Tyrande.
Yeah.
You know, I love this too because all they have to do is wait for the Ruthless Onslaught to come in, and then it's like, oh, you wanted to be here? Actually, you're going to be even closer to our team because we're going to either overpower you in or shadow charge you in, or he's going to be very deep into the composition of Na'Vi.
Now, the other thing that we need to bring up too is the addition of Karazim into this. How are we going to expect to see Na'Vi make the most use of this? And I think that there's the potential, even if you grab Muradin with that combo into the Tyrande stun, if you have 7-sided strike as well, that could be the recipe for a quick disaster, even for someone with such a high HP pool as Muradin. So I'm curious to see if that's what they go for. It could be Divine Palm as well. You have Butcher there, he does provide a lot of burst damage, and that could be the tool that they make use of to really get heroes out of those bad situations.
Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Game 2 ready right now. Kubi, thank you very much, and he will be back again for the analysis part later this game. All right, so Game 2 just started. Braveheart versus Na'Vi. On the blue team, we got Braveheart. Bao will be playing as the Sylvanas, Exia onto the Vala. Gemini as Uther. Kaladia will be your Muradin. Last but not least, the Chop Shop owner, M on the Butcher.
And their opponents, they're up 1-0 in this best of 3. We have Na'Vi with AlexTheProG playing Johanna, ethernal on Kael'thas. JayPL actually playing the Diablo. SHWimpi will be playing Tyrande. And finally, Karazim once again played by Splendour.
Oh, it's just such a good game. I mean, look at that Diablo skin. Archangel Diablo. He's completely confused right now. He does not belong on that side.
No, he does not. You are right. But he's going to be there anyway. We'll see if they can start to get some ganks. But it's actually Braveheart who wants to try to maybe catch somebody out here. All 5 hanging out in this bush, just waiting for somebody to pop out from beyond the gate.
Wow. Oh, they're all going to get spotted. Party over.
Instantly, indeed. Well, they'll start to move around and see. I think it's going to be a battle of the ganks here, Babel, because we've got, like we mentioned before, the Diablo and the Tyrande, but we have the Butcher. Don't forget him either. And they have a lot of stuns to go with him, too. Exactly what you need to be able to pick it up. I think both teams will be trying to pick up that early game experience lead.
In a game like this that is full of rotation, it is the team that moves faster that will have the upper hand. But here we have already the movement coming up really well. The Lunar Flare connecting, and it seems like Bao will get eaten alive.
And that is difficult because there is no one here for soaking the experience. We had Uther and the Butcher far up, and now so they're going to rotate all the way around, and it's now they're going to be able to pick it up. But yeah, it was looking a little bit bad for them.
And Butcher really just doesn't have the early game pressure. You want to make sure they get those fresh meat counts going first before you start those rotation.
Right.
Which is why I think that Na'Vi knows exactly that and will rotate even heavier in the first half of this game. And we have the shrines just spawning already. And I don't think Braveheart is in position. 3 of them at the mid lane, 1 at the bottom. Johanna will not be joining the fight, it seems.
So looking at the first tempo phase, you have the mid and the top, and it kind of comes down to who has the better fight and whether you feel like you have that better fight. Sometimes we'll see teams just go ahead and just trade them out if they feel like they don't have that better early game fight, and that's starting to be what we see here, but there looks to be a gank as ethernal will get taken out here, so evening up the score on takedowns.
Yeah, we are both just going to be chopping people up all game, and that looks really, really good. I think all of these Diablo characters, that is the main mission of them being in Heroes of the Storm. But here we get some temple charges firing off on both sides, and we have Na'Vi occupying the top temple, and Braveheart at the mid temple. Meanwhile, bottom lane, it seems like Bao is having a really good time against Alex, although Alex will clear the way faster than he will.
So we are still trading out the temples, so looking like they don't really feel, but there is a gank happening right now. Alex in a lot of trouble. He's going to try to delay as long as possible, but a great hamstring comes in and takes him out.
Sweet revenge for the Butcher, and it seems like Murding will get blown apart as well, and we will have Na'Vi occupying the mid-temple right now. That means that they will have a little bit of extra advantage when it comes to this first objective for this map.
Yeah, they're able to steal just a few more shots off of that, pick up another tower, and they're starting to grow that experience lead up as well. So we'll see what they continue to go through. Meanwhile, looking at talent, we do have the Hungering Arrow build coming out for Vala. So looking for more of a duelist. And it makes a lot of sense too, because if she gets caught out, she might be able to throw that down, try to buy some time with the Siphoning Arrow as well.
Yeah, I mean, Vala will really want to go for burst right here because you have Butcher, you have the one-directional approach against the enemy team. You want to make sure you burst someone down ASAP, especially when up against a squishy target. And a good cancellation of the Ruthless Onslaught there by M.
All right, we have Giants versus Giants. We'll see teams start to rotate up to pick up those bruisers as the bottom temple will be spawning fairly soon. But until then, teams are looking to try to put on some pressure and get some towers down. If they can start to do that, then they can get the bottom temple and look to maybe pick up a fort with it instead of just some towers, really furthering them in experience. And of course, taking down more structures so that later temples become more dangerous.
I really like the rotation so far from both sides. They're just very active, rotating between the lanes. If this battleground is not Sky Temple, but a smaller one, there'll be a lot more action. But right now, they want to make sure they get the level lead. They want to make sure they get the bruiser cam and start the clock going.
We'll see if one of the teams chooses to forego some of the early shots from that bottom temple to help their bruisers push, especially knowing that Na'Vi were the ones to be able to get all of that top temple. They may look to do that, put the bruisers on that fort, so it kind of forces Braveheart to choose between defending or possibly losing a fort to bruisers.
Yeah, it's a little bit tad too early though. The capping of the mercenary camp there for the bruiser camps, and we got Braveheart just trying something fishy, and Na'Vi from the top side, JayPL as the Diablo not gonna catch Exia. The Vala's gonna pull right back. Gemini getting spotted out by Lunar Flare. That is the saddest thing I've seen all day.
Meanwhile, we do have level 7 talents coming in, level 8, slight level lead in favor of Na'Vi as they've got battle momentum on both Diablo and Johanna. So it's a little bit different than what we saw before. Here comes the Ruthless Onslaught. It's going to have to be canceled. Great job of Ethernal being able to dodge that.
Yeah, Kelta's just singing a song, Can't Touch This. He is just behind the wall. Very, very safe. Meanwhile, Exia not so safe. We got scHwimpi looking for the kill, but not going to get it. AlexTheProG just a little bit too far back out. They will get this top fort, though.
And that's what I'm talking about, the Siphoning Arrow. That's exactly what saved Vala there. But like you mentioned, the top fort has gone down. Now, if they're able to rotate down, they've got that experience lead. They may forego the temple. It's about halfway done, but if they can get down, get some takedowns on top of that, they're going to be looking very pretty as they're almost a full level lead here. They may catch Butcher.
Oh, we see Diablo with a nice overpower and a body blow. You shall not pass! And now dropping a lot of HP. Butcher getting chopped alive. It seems like the Act 4 boss will win.
It looks like, yeah, Kubi's question has been answered. Kerdiar will be able to dwarf toss over. Thankfully, it goes over that wall, but they did pick up all of the temples, so that at least is in their favor. They also did get the fort with that, so that has brought them back up in experience. Heroic abilities being picked up, and look, Babel.
Oh, my favorite lightning breath. We're just gonna have bad breath all day long.
They also have the Blessed Shield as well as the Starfall, and I've lost my place here. There we go. Divine Palm as well, and Phoenix too. So we were going to be going for more of the zoning. No spicy meatballs for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I really want to have them. I mean, you can just cook them so well with lightning breath behind. Such a great animation as well, but it seems like dinner will be served later. But so far, level 10, both sides, very interesting options coming up from both teams, and Fala just getting deleted once again. JayPL is just being such a good Diablo. The rotations were on point. That combo between the Shadow Charge as well as Overpower is also very, very nice.
I mentioned being scared of what would be coming from Na'Vi, and the Diablo is definitely an issue. Now, already we've seen Iron Skin go down. This is a condition where they can continue to chase now, knowing that's get down. They're going to be able to pick up AlexTheProG.
And we also have the Phoenix now. It could be a fantastic turnaround. There goes the Divine Shield. Splendour in a lot of trouble. Divine Palm going to buy some time, but it will not proc. Splendour in a lot more trouble, but will pull back in time. Lightning Breath forces out of disengage. Uther now pulling back, and we have a cancellation by the Butcher, and it seems like SHWIMPI is going to fall.
SHWIMPI is down, and will they continue? No, the Starfall dealing a lot of damage. They're worried about the slow there, and I would be too. The members of Na'Vi who were left were very high on health, and it would have been scary to continue engaging. Instead, they are completely content to start painting the battleground blue, picking up these Giants too, and moving around, pushing lanes, continuing to try to get an experienced lead as we move into the next temples.
So far, so good. I mean, it's so even as compared to the first game. Level 11, both sides, and we have the next wave of temples spawning. Right now, it's just too close to call it quit just yet, and I can say that there's barely any lead going both sides.
Yeah, man, we're close in terms of structures. We're close in terms of takedowns too. In fact, we're dead even in takedowns. Even experience is very close. Na'Vi, Braveheart is keeping right up with them, and that's so cool to see.
Yeah, it's really, really just awesome to see that right now. Although Na'Vi is starting to get a bit of EXP lead, but that's because of the way the lanes are being positioned. And we have also got a temple getting contested. We will see the Sentinels spotting them out. And this is a very, very nice angle for Na'Vi to flank. Johanna leading the fray. But Kel'Thas says no, and the whole team pulls right back.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to choose to push instead, not feeling confident about going in and trying to engage that bottom temple. It is the very difficult, most difficult one to try to engage into. But I also love this choice from Braveheart, not willing to just sacrifice their structures right away, just easily moving away from the temple, knowing they can go right back there. Really, both teams playing a game of cat and mouse here.
Yeah, they're just really making sure that they cover the best interest, and nice defense by Braveheart on the mid lane. And also we still have Muradin channeling up the bottom temple, but the flank is going to be real now. Muradin may be in a lot of trouble. He wants to get those final charges. That could be his doom, but he will jump across this lake here. Maybe not, but soon he is just waiting. Maybe not even needed, and the Ruthless also on the Kel'Thas. Kel'Thas in a lot of trouble. He will go down. Here comes JayPL on the Diablo. It may not be. Now there goes the Lightning Breath. Exia getting fried alive. Will pull back. This is too hard. We gotta move away, and it seems like a 5-man condemn. It's gonna roll all of them in. Butcher will go down first. Uther is next.
They're so low. Exia and Bao so incredibly close to being taken out. There goes the Radiant Dash, and they will be able to secure another takedown on top of that. A 1-for-3 engagement. Make that 4 for 1, and they will be definitely on top of that one.
It is a great rotation coming up from Braveheart all the way down to the bottom area, but of course it is still the AoEs that will matter at the end. That Lightning Breath was just so painful, they had to pull back, and in that movement there, they all just got out of position, getting caught out one by one, and that was just not good at all.
This is a big moment for Na'Vi too, because until this, it's been very, very close. We mentioned it before, but being able to get a 4 for 1 and instantly go and pick up the boss, they still even have a temple that they can grab on top of that, but playing passively too, realizing that they were low, they need to kind of recharge a little bit and start to get some more pressure out. When they see members come down to defend this, that's when they can go up to the temple.
And this is something I really like about European teams, is the fact that they always know how to take it slow and just reorganize a little bit it, go for mercenary camps. The rest of the teams, not to say they don't do that, but the Europeans, they do that even more. They make sure that they get their level lead before they do something. And here we have Kadia in a lot more trouble, and the combo will not connect, but he jumps directly into the small wall, and the wall is not a friend today.
And now we have Navi able to pick up this temple. In fact, the boss is still pushing here as well, because Braveheart have been a little bit concerned about wanting to just all focus on that boss and lose out on a lot of the battleground objectives. So they did at least get some giants that are going to be able to push that lane on bottom, but that is a lot of work. And Navi, realizing that it took so long and we had a lot of members on bottom, they're going to actually just forego taking the temple and push first.
Ever since that Butcher kill right there, his fresh meat charges are not max, and it's only at 13. That's a big problem for Butcher. He's not going to get maximum value, and he's also not looking to soak lanes to get the charges up. He's just looking to defend the top lane because of the pressure that Navi provides.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to pick up a keep here. Ideally, they want to try to get a takedown, and they're looking for maybe a potential gravity lapse, but that has gone down. Ethernal threw it out. But if they can catch somebody as well with an overpower, that would be it. They have a lot of ways of being able to take someone out, and meanwhile, they have Splendour and the rest of the members slowly starting to put some damage on this keep. They may even be able to get Uther here.
And here we have also the Phoenix and Staff on both sides. Uther will go down, but it seems like the heals will still be enough to keep Braveheart up, and they will disengage. They already got the objective of getting the keep now. Kaadia, you don't want to do something silly. Murden, you don't want to go in, and it seems like he will jump out with those short legs of his.
Yeah, he just barely got away too. He had Living Bomb on him, but of course he is Murden, so he's pretty tanky here. Looks like now we still have a top temple that they can rotate to, so at any point they can just back off and be able to pick that up. And because we have Uther down, what can Braveheart do to stop this, especially because they don't have level 16 talents?
They're really using the Phoenix low cooldown to their advantage here. Sky Temple is a battleground that you really need to get. You need to gain ground, need to defend ground, and Phoenix is just so good there. Here we have another Flame Strike connecting Exia. Perfect gravity lapse, by the way, by Kel'Thas.
By the way, the Diablo build is Fire Devil into Firestorm and then Rampage on top of that. So when he hits that, he deals damage all around him. The fire waves come back to him, dealing more damage, and then Rampage means that he's doing even more damage. He goes on a Rampage. So he's really playing this Diablo like the bruiser that he is.
Yeah, I get it. He's really angry. But we have level 16 soon, and you don't want to be on the other end, but seems like Murden is just really good to run away from such angles of catch. JayPL now, his skill time cooldown. SHWIMPI in a lot of trouble getting chained like that. He doesn't want to pull back yet, and we have the quick Divine Pop, Lightning Breath behind the wall. That's really cheeky. We got AlexTheProG pulling that Murden back in.
And Murden is going to maybe be able, no, he will not get away. The overpower going to throw him back in, but they are ready to re-engage here as well. Navi is going to be losing potentially their Diablo. He's so incredibly low, and he will go down.
And then it will be all the charges on Diablo going down. Am now with a bit more heals on the Vitals quickly. Ethernal in even more trouble. We have Kadia pushing him back, and Am will finally take the fall. But it seems like Ethernal will pay the heavy price. Pao will actually be traded here, and Pao will also go down. Successful trade, 2 for 3 so far. Exia with a lot more damage of Splendour, but it will not be easy to take down 2 support players there.
Braveheart have to be careful here too, because Diablo is already back up. He had enough souls, and here comes the charge in, as well as the overpower, and yet another hero goes down on the side of Braveheart.
That is exactly why Diablo is just on such a cheat machine. He comes back so fast into most engagements. It's almost like he's the first one to go, and if that happens, he's also going to bring fire on the structures. They're really angry. We need to talk to JayPL after this.
Yeah, man, what's up with that? We'll have to see, but that does afford them a lot of experience, and they were able to just capitalize in little ways whenever they need to, knowing that, hey, we don't need to take this temple right now. We can go and push and start to take down towers, if not a keep. And then in this case too, they were there, they knew they had it. The lightning breath, the cooldown is low too, so they're able to pick that up too.
Yeah, Butcher with no fresh meat count and a level 16 pickup. That is really going to be interesting. You need to have a really high fresh meat count to have those increased attack speed, and I don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, and Navi are doing a great job of ensuring that too. They want to be able to get to the takedowns, but if you notice, every time a Lambda the Slaughter goes down on somebody who is a high target or high value target, instantly Divine Palm goes down, and then what do? Do you allow them to have that big heal, or do you try to just wait it out? It's just not really paying off so far.
Yeah, and I'm really hungry right now, and this game is just telling me whether I like my meat chopped up fresh or is it going to be barbecued by Diablo. And it seems like Butcher is in a lot of trouble. The Vine's just going to keep him safe for a little bit. We have also Willing around the back line, but the Lightning Breath is a complete whiff. They're all being pushed back. AlexTheProG leading the fray. Splendour behind him. Shrimpy and the rest of the team, they're all going to go in. Diablo looking for a catch, but Gemini with the String Ray. JayPL's not going to get anywhere close. Lunar Flare will connect ethernal with the bolt forward, and Uther will get barbecued alive.
What a great bolt, aggressive bolt forward from ethernal. They're able to gravity lapse and pick up somebody, and I love the instant capitalization on those level 20 Storm Talents. They grabbed him and they went, and in fact, we even have Hellstorm too. So you thought that Lightning Breath was scary before? Oh man, it's going to be very scary now.
It's really just going to be a stinky bad breath. That's all I can think about. We have also a boss cam attempt, and Kaadia is going to spot this out, but if he does jump in, I don't think he can do anything. They don't have the Storm Talents, they have to pull back, and at this stage, it just looks really, really sad for Braveheart.
Yeah, no Storm Talents, and on top of that, no Uther. Once again, they're down their support. A really great prioritization in taking him out several times in these fights from Na'Vi, being able to say, you don't have your support, so there's no way that you can even try to engage in here.
Yeah, they're just really, really pushing very, very well with the boss camp as well as the Siege Giants. And there is nothing that Braveheart can do. They need their level 20. They're soaking the top lane, but they have to bail out and go back to the base to defend. This Keep will take the fall. The boss is still at almost full HP. The Keep is even in a lot more trouble. We have maximum charge on the fresh meat here for Butcher. And Diablo reeling it, moving back in. He will also jump back out. M going in. M has to pull back out right now. And it's gonna not look so good. We still have the Divine Shield on the Butcher, but it seems like Johanna will have the indestructible, will be okay. And that bad breath stinks so badly that everybody will feign. And we have the whole team pushing on the core dropping, boss still knocking. It seems like there's nothing Braveheart can do to stop this approach. The core down to 1%, and Braveheart will fall. Na'Vi goes on to the next round.
Man, Diablo just took his first game at the Heroes of the Storm World Championship here at BlizzCon, and that was incredible. Just seeing him as a bruiser, right? As almost a melee assassin, moving in like, yeah, you got the Butcher, we'll show you Diablo.
Yeah, it's just really, really so good. You look at the synergy Diablo provides, and this is just so old school. We know that this is a combo that was run a long, long time ago with Apocalypse, but right now, Lightning Breath, all my dreams as a little kid is coming true right now. I'm not even kidding.
Your dreams of bad breath?
Yeah, no, not really bad breath. Well, you know when you wake up next to Kubi? Yeah, ooh, that's the feeling there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, Kubi, hi, you're here. Oh, God.
So, you know, I heard you talking a lot about the Divine Palm backstage, and we saw a really strong Butcher play from Na'Vi in the first game, and then you look at that direct counter that we were absolutely missing from Braveheart's play in the first game. We just didn't see that setup for it. This is apparently how you counter your own strategy. Not quite the same, but, you know, the theory is there, right? You need to make sure that you have one of those very, very impactful heroics. So that was a very, very interesting point. So it was great that you called that out. Now I want to hop on into a really, really cool moment in this Windows 10 game DVR replay. We have this very, very early takedown onto Kael'thas, which is actually unfortunate, but Na'Vi has probably one of the greatest turnarounds in a 4v5 situation that I have seen in a long time. Even with this Divine Shield Butcher going in, I really want to highlight AlexTheProG on this Johanna play. Now, he took a very interesting talent at level 4. Well, I say interesting, but it's something that's newly shifted into the meta, and that is the Eternal Retaliation, the cooldown reduction for every target that gets hit, you know, up to a maximum of 7.5 seconds for a 10-second cooldown, and it does so much work in this game. So we're going to see Alex end up moving forward. He is going to get, basically, our first condemn is going to be about right here, and it is going to pull in a lot of heroes into Diablo's Lightning Breath. It's going to go off in this direction. What that ends up doing is pushing the rest of this team up in this direction. They continue to funnel up forward. I'm going to go ahead and play this just for a second for you guys. They continue to funnel them up in the direction. Lightning Breath pushing them away, and we can see that Alex moves forward and he gets a 5-man condemn at this point, landing even more AoE damage to be thrown down, and they continue to funnel up in this direction up here. And we're even going to see another condemn. 3 condemns are used, hitting multiple heroes in this fight, and it's even going to cancel the Haunting Wave. So we're going to go ahead and advance it once more. You can see the replay. They get multiple takedowns. Diablo following up on all of this. Another condemn, canceling the Haunting Wave. They follow forward to take out the Exia. Just amazing play from Alex. I really wanted to highlight that one talent in particular, and just if you ever question why sometimes teams take this, that is a great highlight right there. Because of that cooldown, you can get so much value out of that one ability.
I really liked your drawing of Lightning Breath, by the way.
It was great, right? Just
yeah, that's
you guys aren't ready for that yet. I know it's just the art, but it just can't be unleashed under the world just yet.
Yeah, that's the most creative drawing I've seen so far.
It was even blue. I matched the color.
Yeah.
They're not ready.
Really
They're not ready.
Yeah. I mean, Alex just wants to hug everybody. That's all he's been doing all game. Going in, hugging 5 people, you know, he just wants some love.
You mentioned that Na'Vi were able to turn that even though they lost somebody, and that is actually a very big strength of Na'Vi just in general. Their ability to tell if they can still continue on a fight even if they lose someone early on. So really great job by them in being able to do that, because man, that fight was intense.
Right, and they were able to turn it, like from that moment, it just felt like they had 5 heroes there the whole time.
Right.
The fact that they were getting so much value out of every single ability, the Lightning Breath, being able to follow up with the additional Shadow Charges and multiple condemns. Well played to Na'Vi.
Yeah, really, really well played. Mind completely blown. Now we're going to take a look at the current bracket standing. And it seems like this is Group B. DK up against Na'Vi. This is going to be match number 6. That's going to happen almost immediately. But the next match that's coming right up is actually going to be from Group A. And that will be Cloud9 up against Dignitas. And this is going to be a really awesome match. I believe we've got fantastic commentary waiting for that match specifically. A lot of debate, a lot of fire from the room already. And this is just exactly what it is. Now, Cloud9, they're a team that is very, very dominant in the Americas region. And in case you don't know anything about them, this is where you'll find out.
Yeah, Cloud9 up against the Dignitas team too. That is going to be a great series. I can't wait to see it. We finally get to see EU versus NA once again.
I know, so excited. I'll be able to check it out backstage, watching with bated breath. Diablo breath, lightning breath. Ooh, nailed it!
Yeah, it's really, really so good. But I want to get a bit of the Cloud9 breath. Let's see how that feels like.